I'll now call the case number 66219 in the matter of Derek Alfonso Quinata, which is a probation revocation. Mr. Berry, would you make your appearance for the record?
Judith Berry for the Commission for Lawyer Discipline.
And I haven't seen anyone enter the courtroom. Is Mr. Quinata present? Has anyone heard from Mr. Quinata? Okay. Hearing nothing, we'll move forward. Mr. Berry, you can proceed.
Okay, I guess as a preliminary, Mr. Quinata yesterday after 5 o'clock filed a motion for continuance. I filed a response this morning. Did the board receive that?
We did receive the response and we are denying the motion for continuance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a revocation of probation proceeding pursuant to Part 2.22 of the Texas Rules of Disciplinary Procedure, seeking to revoke the following judgments. Case number 201806042, which was an agreed judgment of probated suspension entered on June the 18th, 2019. Case number 201805120, which was an agreed judgment of probated suspension entered on June the 18th, 2019. Case number 201806268, which was agreed judgment of probated suspension entered on June the 28th, 2019. And case number 201902189, which was an agreed judgment of probated suspension entered on October the 17th of 2019. The petition for revocation of probation was filed with the board on December the 28th, 2021. The first amended petition for revocation of probation was filed on January the 25th, 2022. Respondent was served on April the 4th, 2022 with the first amended petition and notice of hearing by David T. Carroll from El Paso County Deputy Sheriff by delivering a copy to Sylvia Quinata at respondent's address of record with the State Bar of Texas pursuant to an order of this board. The original proof of service was filed on April the 21st, 2022, and respondent has filed no response. Respondent violated the terms of the judgments by failing to comply with the following terms. In cause number 201806042, 2018-05120, and 2018-06268, respondent failed to comply with the requirements to complete 6 additional hours of CLE in the area of law practice management on or before October the 15th, 2019. Respondent also failed to engage the services of an independent certified public accountant to assist him with implementing accounting procedures to properly balance all his trust accounts and provide confirmation of the implementation of such accounting procedures to the State Bar within 90 days of the judgment. He also failed to review his trust accounts and have them completely reviewed by the CPA within 60 days and give that report to the State Bar. He also failed to provide the required quarterly reports as required by the judgment, or take the necessary action to allow the CPA to provide any reports to the bar. In cause number 201806042, respondent failed to remit the $1,000 payment for attorney fees and expenses that were due by September the 15th, 2019. In cause number 2018-05120, he failed to remit a $1,000 payment for attorney's fees and direct expenses that was due by September the 15th, 2019. In cause number 2019-02189, respondent failed to pay the attorney's fees and direct expenses in the amount of $400 that was made payable in 4 payments of $100 each starting December 1st, 2019. He also failed to make contact with the Texas Lawyers Assistance Program within 7 days of receiving the judgment to inquire about what services and referrals were offered by TLAP to aid in his rehabilitation. He further failed to send any verification of contact with TLAP to the State Bar, failed to timely make contact with the Office of Chief Disciplinary Counsel's Office of Compliance and Special Programs Monitor in order to monitor his compliance. This time I would offer the following exhibits. Exhibit 1 is a certified copy of the agreed judgment of probated suspension entered in cause number 2018-06042, dated June the 8th, 2019. Exhibit 2 is an agreed judgment of probated suspension entered in cause number 2018-05120, dated June the 18th, 2019. Exhibit 3 is a certified copy of the agreed judgment of probated suspension entered in cause number 2018-06268, dated June the 28th, 2019. Exhibit 4 is a copy of the agreed judgment of probated suspension entered in cause number 2019-02189, dated October the 17th, 2019. Exhibit 5 is a business records affidavit by Heather White, compliant monitor, attached documents detailing the efforts made by her office to gain compliance from Mr. Quinata. Exhibit 6 is the original certificate of Blake A. Hawthorne, clerk of the Supreme Court of Texas, dated April the 20th, 2022, indicating that Mr. Quinata is licensed and currently authorized to practice law in the state of Texas. And Exhibit 7 are copies of two other disciplinary matters judgments against respondent. One is a certified copy of an agreed judgment of partially probated suspension entered in cause number 2020 DCV-0510, dated July 13th, 2021. And the other one is a certified copy of an agreed judgment of probated suspension entered in case number 2018-03491, dated January 10th, 2019. This time I would offer these exhibits.
Is that exhibits 1 through 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Exhibits 1 through 7 are exhibits.
Thank you. We respectfully request an entry of judgment revoking probation and actively suspending respondent from the practice of law for a period of 3 years.
Would you like to put on the compliance monitor for just a very brief testimony?
I can do that, yes, I would. I call Heather Light at this time.
Thank you.
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Heather Kathleen White,
And who do you work for?
the State Bar of Texas, Office of the Chief Disciplinary Counsel,
And how long have you been in that position?
since June 4th, 2012.
And would you describe your job for the board, please?
Yes, I monitor records related to disciplinary sanctions that have been imposed against attorneys in order to determine whether they've complied with their judgment terms. Those judgment terms may include, but are not limited to, restitution, attorney's fees, law license, bar card, affidavits, mental health and rehabilitative terms, etc.
And in that job, are you familiar with causes number 2018-06042, 2018-05120, 2018-06268?
Ms. Terry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Can you slow down? I think she's having trouble keeping up with all of
I'm
this.
sorry, Kim.
It's okay.
Okay, you want me to repeat those numbers?
Go ahead.
Okay, the last one is 2019-02189, all styled in the matter of Derek Alfonso Quinata.
Yes.
Okay. I think we've already gone over some of the terms and conditions that Mr. Quinata did not comply with. What efforts did your office make to get him to comply? Just briefly, and I know we've given the board, I would ask the board to take judicial notice of some of the letters and emails that were sent to Mr. Quinata.
We'll take notice of that. Thank you.
Thank you. So would you just kind of tell them your experience with dealing with Mr. Quinata?
Yes, of course. The compliance team has made many efforts to try to obtain compliance from Mr. Quinata. That includes 3 demand letters, an introductory letter, several phone calls, I think 8 emails. He has been sporadically responsive here and there, but he never follows up. He currently owes $3,400 in attorney's fees throughout all his judgments. He hasn't complied with his CPA terms, his license, bar card, attorney's fees. He has not sent us confirmation of contact with TLAP. And we send out regular letters. All our letters go out regular mail and certified mail. We've received signed green cards back every single time. All of our emails are sent successfully. And we always list all our judgment terms, so there's no confusion on what he needs to do to get into compliance with his judgments. He's very well aware what he needs to do to get in compliance.
To your knowledge, has he indicated any indication at all that he has tried to engage the services of his CPA in order to comply with those terms of these judgments?
No.
Has he indicated at all in a voicemail or anything else that he's attempted to contact TLAP?
No.
Okay, and I just want to bring to the board's attention, there was a 2021 judgment of partially probated suspension
Yes.
that we submitted as an exhibit. Would you tell the board how you all finally gained compliance? This was a judgment of, I think it was a 1-year partially probated suspension with 1 month active, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And was his ability to return to practice dependent or contingent upon his complying with the terms of that judgment?
That is correct.
And did he comply with the terms of that judgment timely?
No, he did not.
When did he finally comply? And can you tell the board how he got compliance on that
Yes.
case?
His active suspension was scheduled to end on September 30th, 2021, and that was if he complied with certain terms. I had notified the membership department that he was to remain actively suspended because he had not complied with those terms. Well, shortly after September 30th, I heard from him and his counsel wondering why he had not been reinstated, and I pointed out the contingent terms of his judgment and that he had not complied with them. And then they finally complied October 6th, 2021.
And so at that time, he was returned on those.
Yes,
And the judgments that are at issue today didn't have any, they were fully probated.
correct. This was the only partially probated.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have. If the board has any questions, I'm sure Ms. White can answer them for you.
Thank you. Any questions for the witness from the board? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sit down.
We respectfully request that Mr. Quinata be suspended actively for 3 years.
Thank you. We will take that under advisement.
Thank you.